The flight attendant glanced down the aisle, her eyes pausing on seat 12F. A tired-looking man sat there, cradling a little girl no older than 6, her head resting on his shoulder. His clothes were plain, his hands calloused, his face marked with lines of exhaustion far beyond his years. To anyone else, he was just another single dad trying to keep his daughter calm on a long flight. No one noticed how his eyes constantly scanned the cabin, alert yet calm, the way a man trained to protect never fully lets his guard down. Passengers near him whispered when the girl asked softly, "Daddy, are we safe up here?" He smiled, brushing her hair back. "Always safe, princess. Daddy's got you." To them, it sounded like reassurance from a loving father. To him, it was a vow carved into his very soul. What no one knew was that the man in seat 12F was auntie just a father. He was a legend, a name carried in quiet reverence among fighter squadrons, a call sign that even the most decorated pilots would stand at attention for. But today, he was anonymous. Today, he was just Dad. The flight was bound for Washington, D.C., filled with businessmen tapping away on laptops, families eager for vacations, and tourists planning their adventures. Yet as the plane crossed over military airspace, something unexpected happened. The captain's calm voice crackled over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're being escorted by 2F to Raptors for a short distance. Nothing to worry about, it's routine training." The cabin buzzed with excitement as passengers pressed to the windows, phones ready to capture the sleek gray jets slicing through the sky. Children squealed in wonder. But in seat 12F, the single dad's expression changed. His daughter looked up at him. "Daddy, those are your planes, aren't they?" He hushed her gently, but the words hit harder than any turbulence. One of the passengers across the aisle, a young man in uniform traveling home on leave, noticed the exchange. Curious, he leaned closer. "Excuse me, sir. Have you flown before?" The dad gave a polite nod, his lips curving in the faintest smile. "Once or twice," the young soldier chuckled. "I'd say more than that, the way your daughter said it. You're a pilot, aren't you?" Before he could answer, the unexpected happened. Over the intercom, the captain's voice returned, this time trembling with something different. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've just received word from our escorts. They've identified a passenger on board to all service members present. You may want to know this. In seat 12, F sits Hawkeye." The cabin went silent. People turned toward the single dad. The name spread like wildfire. Hawkeye. Even those who knew nothing about military call signs felt the weight of it. The young soldier's jaw dropped. "Sir, you're that Hawkeye? The one who saved an entire squadron when the comms went dark in the desert." The father lowered his gaze, embarrassed by the sudden attention. His daughter clung to his arm, whispering, "Daddy, why are they looking at you?" "Honey," he said softly, "because sometimes the past follows us even when we don't ask it to." The flight attendant, teary-eyed, walked over. "Sir, is it true? You're the Hawkeye? The one every pilot trains about in simulations." He sighed, not out of arrogance, but out of humility. "Yes, but that was a lifetime ago. Now, I'm just Dad." But outside, the F-22s weren't flying casually anymore. They pulled closer, dipping their wings in unison. It wasn't a maneuver for show, it was a salute. Two of the most advanced fighter jets in the world, honoring the man who once led them, trained them, and kept their skies safe. The passengers, once strangers, began applauding. Some stood. The young soldier snapped into a crisp salute from across the aisle, his eyes shining with pride. The little girl looked around in awe. "Daddy! They're clapping for you!" For the first time, the man allowed himself to smile, though his eyes carried the weight of memories friends lost, missions survived, sacrifices never forgotten. He placed a hand over his daughter's small fingers. "They're clapping for all of us, sweetheart. For everyone who gave something so you could fly safe in this sky." By the time the plane landed, no one saw him as just a weary father. They saw him for what he was. A man who had carried the weight of a nation, yet chose to carry the weight of his daughter's world even higher. As the passengers filed out, the young soldier paused by his seat. "Sir, thank you." Not just for what you did in uniform, but for showing us what a real hero looks like when the uniform comes off.
The man nodded, adjusting his daughter's backpack as she clutched his hand.
Remember this, son. Medals tarnish. Uniforms fade. But being there when your child needs you, that's the most important mission of all. And with that, the single dad in seat 12F walked down the aisle. Not as a legend, not as a call sign, but as the hero his daughter would always salute.